Let's bring in Nebraska Senator Ben Sasse, who just questioned AG Garland during the Judiciary Committee hearing. Just walked out of that hearing room, sir. Appreciate you jumping on the camera with us right now.
Thanks for the invite.
To more on that memo and what we are hearing in that hearing room this morning, and you and other senators pressing the Attorney General on just that. Here was your exchange with Garland. Let's play it.
Will you pledge you will report back to this committee with the results of your investigation about how big a threat the American parent class is to school boards in the country?
I will be happy to get a report back to you, but this is not about the American parent class.
I know, it's about the politicization of DOJ, and you decided to submit as a vessel, and you know better.
What struck you about that exchange, Senator?
Well, the Attorney General Garland knows better, and he decided to not own up to his mistake. I mean, what he did here is ridiculous politicization. It's now clear, we have the facts, that a couple of staffers at the National School Boards Association coordinated with political hack staff, comm staff at the White House, and they decided to put the Attorney General up there to pretending there's some massive conspiracy across the country against school boards, and that these parents who are trying to take responsible ownership for their kids' education and engage these school boards, that somehow there's some predatory threat. It's just not true. Obviously, we're all against violence. He went back to that repeatedly, and we should just stipulate everybody in American public life is against violence and against threats of violence against school board officials. But he didn't have any data about that. He had a political hack staff operation, and he decided to submit to it. And today he didn't own any of it. It was really embarrassing for the Attorney General.
To which he said to you, I will be happy to get a report back to you, but this is not about the American parents. It was a remarkable exchange, and once again used that word vessel. You decided to submit as a vessel. We heard that from Senator Kennedy earlier. But he also just said in an exchange with your Republican colleague in the Senate, Marsha Blackburn, there's nothing parents should be concerned about in that memo. To that you say what?
Well, one of the bizarre things about his responsibility for a bureaucracy that has 100,000 employees is the U.S. attorneys, there are about 100 of them, report directly to him. And the U.S. attorney for Montana, only a week after Attorney General Garland's memo, decided to promulgate his own memo inside the state of Montana, telling people, law enforcement officials, that they should look at whether or not there are too many emails or phone calls sent by angry parents to school boards and figure out whether or not they could use that as a basis of, I don't know, some federal charge because the email crossed interstate lines as parents said they were mad. It's really bizarre stuff. And the U.S. attorney for Montana acted on Garland's memo and said, let's figure out how we can have a chilling effect on the speech of parents who want to be involved in their kids' education. And the Attorney General today showed no adult leadership. He took no responsibility for his actions. He refused to acknowledge what is obviously true on his team, which is that they got caught being used as a vessel of political staffers.
I want to turn your focus now to the questions that the Attorney General received on Afghanistan, the vetting of those that came over in the withdrawal from Afghanistan. Senator Lindsey Graham had a moment where he questioned the Attorney General on the al-Qaeda threat. Listen to this moment.
Al-Qaeda has always presented and continues to present a persistent threat to the United States homeland.
Well, no, but the question is, what's changed? You say always. Has any recent event changed the likelihood of an attack?
I don't know.
You don't know that we withdrew from Afghanistan?
I know we withdrew. I don't know whether the withdrawal will increase the risk from al-Qaeda or not.
Now we can see the senators are walking back into the room now. Senator, we're going to get back to that in just a moment. We know Senator Ted Cruz and others still have yet to go. But real quick, your response to that exchange.
Well, so we've been voting, so I wasn't in there when he had that exchange with Lindsey, so you playing it for me there is the first time I've heard that. But what just utter nonsense, just total BS. Obviously, allowing the Taliban to make Afghanistan again an ungoverned place where organizations like Al-Qaeda and ISIS-K can plot terror attacks of global reach. We know why the terror threat is increased, and it's because the Biden administration decided to abandon their responsibility capabilities to make sure we thwarted terror planning operations over there so they couldn't reach to here. In the Armed Services Committee yesterday, Colin Kahl, an Assistant Secretary of Defense, said that the administration now estimates, I'm on the Intelligence Committee, so I'm clearly not saying things we know from the intelligence space. I'm saying what Colin Kahl said in open hearing before Armed Services yesterday. He set two windows, one a 6 to 12 month and one a 12 to 24 month window of possible attacks that could reach across the ocean from ISIS-K and Al-Qaeda. This is because the Biden administration abandoned their responsibility to kill terrorists over there, so they couldn't plot to kill American citizens over here. The Attorney General obviously knows why the threat has increased, and their administration is admitting it in certain contexts, but today he's just decided to fumble and mumble through everything rather than say what his priorities are.
Senator, real quick, we're going to get back into that hearing room in a moment, but what should the American people take away from what we've seen in that hearing room so far, and what is this going to accomplish?
Well, first of all, it's an important responsibility of Article 1. The Constitution has our three branches. Article 1 is where the legislature has its oversight responsibilities for Article 2. So we pass the laws, and the Attorney General is supposed to be executing and administering the laws that deal with the largest priorities that the American people face. And what we had today was an Attorney General who wouldn't say what Priority 1, Priority 2, Priority 3 are for violence and chaos at the southern border and many places in cities across the country where we have seen the kinds of threats against public order that the Department of Justice has decided it should be focused on. Instead, they've decided to make themselves a part of a culture war that wasn't begun by the American parents speaking up. It was begun by aggressive elite leftist culture warriors, and a bunch of parents want to speak up. They should speak up, and the Department of Justice's responsibility should be about enforcing and protecting the free speech, First Amendment rights of American families.
All right, your Democratic colleague, John Ossoff, is now questioning the AG. Dianne Feinstein still yet to go, Josh Hawley, and Ted Cruz from Texas. Senator Sasse, appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Back to Capitol Hill.